Yeah, can you turn him? Yo, Rolling, get that nigga rolling. All right, that's it. Good shot. Can you turn him? Can you turn him?
Ryan Garcia would be an amazing fight. You know, me and Ryan sparred way back when. You know, we sparred twice, and there's always it's gonna be. I mean, that fight will sell out. I know that fight will sell out. That's one of those mega fights that me and Ryan. That's a fight I'm definitely interested in. It's beautiful.
There are some fights that feel like they were meant to happen. Some rivalries don't need to be forced, don't need to be manufactured, because the tension is already there waiting to explode. Ryan Garcia and Rolly are two fighters with strong personalities, strong egos, and a history of back and forth exchanges, and in their recent face-to-face they collided again.
Any rush coming into this fight?
Now, I mean, for me, it's all about getting in the gym, timing and everything. I feel like I have enough time to get it back. Of course, a 1.5-year layoff sucks. But you know,
Early knockout, or are you just gonna let it come naturally?
I'm gonna let it come naturally. You know, again, with a power puncher, you can't just force things. You can run into a good shot. So for me, I'm gonna, be on my top P's and Q's.
From the moment this fight was announced, it was clear that it wasn't going to be a respectful build-up. The bad blood had already been brewing for a long time. And when Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero came face to face, the atmosphere instantly turned hostile in their most recent face-to-face. Ryan looked Rolly straight in the eyes and let out a statement that for sure leave some mark on Rolly's mind. He leaned in and said, "I will make you look bad in that ring." And with the way Ryan's been training, it looks like he means it.
Right.
You got the best left.
The best left in the world.
Rolly didn't immediately respond, almost as if he needed a moment to process what was just said. But once he did, he fired right back, saying that Ryan had been avoiding this fight for years, and that he wasn't going to let this moment slip away. He told the media, "You say my name, you're getting dealt with." But this is a thought Rolly has always had in mind, that Ryan Garcia doesn't need any kind of intense preparation.
What's the game plan to beat Ryan Garcia?
I don't really got a game plan.
Security had to step in to separate them. But the damage was already done. The incident had turned into a battle of words, and it was clear that neither man was willing to let the other have the last say. Rye wasn't going to let Ryan walk over him, and Ryan wasn't going to let Rolly talk without a response. Rye had been calling Ryan out for a long time, claiming that he had wanted this fight more than anything. He made it clear that he had been waiting for the moment to prove that Ryan wasn't as good as people made him out to be. And he had his reasons to believe that Ryan has been through a lot of ups and downs in his career. There have been moments when people questioned his dedication to boxing, moments when his personal life took center stage more than his fights. Rolly took every opportunity to remind people that Ryan wasn't as focused as he should be, that his mind wasn't always in the right place.
He's a tremendous fighter. He's a tremendous fighter. The only people he cannot be happens to be myself, Gervonta Davis, and depression. So.
Ryan, on the other hand, wasn't holding back either. After Rolly's loss to Isaac Pitbull Cruz, Ryan took to social media to troll Rolly more. He suggested that Rolly should consider influencer boxing, saying that YouTuber Dean the Great might actually be able to beat him. It was meant to be a joke, but it hit hard. Rolly's loss to Cruz had already been tough to deal with. Getting mocked by Ryan only made things worse. According to some fans, Rolly is definitely not on the same level with Ryan, and he might have just been lucky to get where he is.
What Ryan Garcia did a year ago, how concerned are you with that left hook that he is so proud of?
Not very concerned at all.
At all?
At all.
You're going to defend it? You're going to stop it? How do you...
Ryan isn't convinced. He has his own opinions about Rolly's abilities and isn't hesitating to share them. He believed that Rolly was overhyped, that he talked more than he performed, and that when the fight finally happened, he would expose him in the worst way possible. But Rolly wasn't one to stay silent. He had his own thoughts about Ryan. He always believed that Ryan was more interested in fame than in actual fighting, that his social media presence mattered more to him than his performance purses in the ring. He even brought up Ryan's past struggles, questioning whether he had the mental strength to handle a tough fight.
When you see that, you know, there's a pattern, and when you start seeing a pattern, that's when you know something's up.
I mean, how do you see this fight playing out? Do you think it goes a distance, Rolly and your son?
I don't see it right now because the way Ryan is, when he's focused, look what happens to his opponent. You know, I mean, he does drop them. He does drop them. So when he's focused like this, he's very dangerous.
Henry, what is the drug testing in this fight at all?
The thing about this fight is that both men have something to prove. Ryan wants to show that he's still one of the best in the game, that he's not just a popular figure, but a real fighter with real skills. Rolly wants to show that he belongs at the top, that his loss to Cruz was just a bad night, and that he's better than people think. But only one of them will be able to back up their words. There's another layer to this fight that makes it even more personal. Both Ryan and Rolly have been involved in the same boxing circles for years. They've sparred before, they've shared trainers, gyms, and even promotional ties. And that history plays a role in the way they view each other. Rolly has never hidden the fact that he doesn't respect Ryan's boxing style. He thinks Ryan is all ash, no substance. He even said that Ryan's speed is overrated and that his chin is weak. But Ryan has made it clear that he doesn't think much of Rolly's skills either. He sees Rolly as a fighter who got lucky with the right opportunities, but isn't actually elite. This fight is also happening at an interesting time in their careers. Ryan is coming off his controversial situation with the WAT testing drama, where some people still believe he got away with something. He's also had some of the most unpredictable social media behavior, going from religious messages to wild, unfiltered rants. Some think it's all an act, just a way to hype up his fights, while others believe there's something deeper going on with him.
You talk about it in sparring.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
8.
And you think that's relevant to this fight? You think you learned something back then you can take forward to this fight?
Nah, I wasn't really trying to learn.
Rolly, on the other hand, is coming off a brutal loss, where he got completely overwhelmed by Pitbull Cruz. A lot of people think he was never a real champion, that he only got a belt because he fought Ismael Barroso, a 40-year-old fighter who many believe was robbed in that fight. And that's what makes this fight even more intense. Both men need this win to prove that they are still relevant at the highest level of the sport. When the bell rings, the talking stops. And that's when we'll see who was right all along. Ryan believes he'll make Rolly look bad, that his speed and power will be too much. Rolly believes he'll break Ryan, that once Ryan gets pressured, he'll fold. And the truth, it could go either way. This isn't just a boxing match, it's a statement. And when the dust settles, only one of them will still have something to say.
Hits harder, Ryan Garcia with his left hook or Rolly Romero? Gervonta Tank Davis fought both of them.
I ain't gonna lie, Rolly hit hard. They people be sleeping on Rolly. Rolly can hit, bro. Like, he can hit. He's the only person I felt like when he swung, felt like bricks was on his hood. Can Rolly put out the upset? I don't want to say that's crazy, but yeah, hopefully for sure.
But there's so much at stake right now with how things are currently. Keeson Davis has made it clear if Ryan Garcia beats Rolly, Devin Haney might just as well suffer the same painful defeat in their October rematch the same way he did last April. Davis didn't hold back when discussing Haney's future, suggesting that another devastating loss to Garcia would leave Devin with little reason to continue boxing at the highest level. Haney wasn't defeated on paper, but the way he went down multiple times in that first fight with Ryan has raised serious questions about how much damage he took, and according to Khan, Devin might actually just have another tough fight against Ramirez.
obviously, you know, one of the reasons that made Rolly famous was the video of him and Ryan, you know, boxing. So, like, to kind of bring that back full circle and see who would really win in the fight, you know what I mean? Because, you know, in sparring, anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like, anything can happen. But when it's real, when it's for everything, who wins?
Okay, who wins?
Me personally, I believe Ryan Garcia.
Knockout or by point?
Con Davis is looking at the situation from a fighter's perspective, and he believes another loss like that would leave Haney with nowhere to go if Ryan does it again like that. Bro might as well retire, Davis said during an interview with the DAZN Project. I hope you don't get done like that again. If he does, it would be crazy. Haney took a full year off after that devastating loss, which could be a sign that he needed time to recover mentally and physically. But taking time away from the sport doesn't always guarantee that a fighter will return better than before.
I still think Devin Haney can beat Ryan Garcia.
Oh, yeah. I do.
Don't fight that type of style. Don't stand right in front of him.
Yeah.
Do your Devin Haney, and get out of there.
And that's what you do with rematches. You find everything you did wrong. You know it instantly after the fight's over. You come back and you right those wrongs. I do believe that it's a rematch that he will win. I think we talked about this time and time again. I think it's a rematch that
some fighters come back stronger, while others never fully recover from a career-altering defeat. And for Haney, the stakes are even higher, because this isn't just a normal rematch. It's part of the Fatal Fury Elimination Tournament. Ryan announced that this May 2nd event at Times Square in New York City is structured as an elimination-style tournament, meaning both Haney and Garcia must win their upcoming fights to make their rematch happen in October. If Haney loses to Jose Ramirez, or if Garcia gets beaten by Rolando Romero in the main event, the rematch is off. That adds even more pressure to an already intense situation.
There's many possibilities. There's the possibility of him having a better chin, which I'm not sure if he's going to have a better chin. There's probably the possibility of him being faster, stronger at 147. But him moving up to 147, the only thing I think that he's really going to get is him having a better chin, because at 140, he was getting hurt multiple times. His last fight, he didn't get hurt. He's a little bit, if I'm being honest, going to be a little bit more fresher than Ryan Garcia, because
Haney's father and trainer Bill Haney has been working overtime to prepare his son for what's to come. But the pressure of this tournament is real. If Devin struggles against Ramirez and barely wins, people will already start questioning whether he's truly back to his best. And if he loses outright, it's an even bigger problem, because it would mean the end of his shot at avenging his loss to Garcia. But all this is being done as if everyone is sure that Rolly will lose against Garcia, which is already an interesting perspective for a fighter, everyone including your opponent overlooking you is just painful.
Hello everyone, it's Leo Roscoe with the main event, and I'm joined now with the one and only Sean Garcia. How do you see the fight going against Rolly?
Just like what Ryan says, I see him knocking him out. I mean, Rolly's gonna come to fight, there's no doubt about that, but I see Ryan knocking him out.
With the left hook, or what are you predicting?
Left hook, right hand, Ryan's gonna...
In fact, it seems that most people are actually concerned about Haney on May 2nd. The song has been the same ever since the card was announced. Ryan and Devin will have a good fight, but the upcoming fights are just warm-ups. Even Rolly himself seems to be focused more on the rematch than his fight. However, this doesn't not mean that Rolly is overlooking Garcia at all. To Rolly, if there's anyone who should be doing influencer fighting, it's Ryan Garcia. And to add to the salt, he suggested that Ryan can also combine that with modeling. However, nobody seems to be listening to him at all.
Get your thoughts on Ryan Garcia moving past Devin Haney and wanting to fight Rolly.
Yeah, it's a shame. Cheers, mate. That's it. All right, good man. Good to meet you. It's disappointing for boxing, but obviously it's the easier fight is Rolly, so I understand. But you know,
how do you think that fight plays out?
Which one?
Rolly.
Yeah, I think Ryan win that comfortably.
Yeah. What about if Ryan wants to fight Devin Haney?
No, I think Devin wins the fight, but you know, you had.
According to Keeson Davis, the only concern right now is not Rolly or Ryan. It's the long-term impact of that brutal fight against Garcia. Fighters who take too much damage often don't come back the same, and Haney's chin was tested in ways it had never been before. Many believe he may already be a shell of himself, making it more likely that he could be picked off long before the Garcia rematch even happens.
Rolly, he just said he's looking past you to fight Devin Haney. Does this concern you at all?
I think Devin should get the fight again.
But he said he's not even worried about you. He's not even thinking about you. He's looking forward to that fight. You're just going to be a bump in the road.
He can think whatever he wants. He knows me too well. So.
How easy is it going to be? How long will Rolly last with you in the ring?
Fast. There you go. You answered the phone.
Davis also touched on how the boxing world would view Haney if he lost in similar fashion again. We know Devin is not going to retire, Keeson said, but his career won't be worth much. He suggested that Haney could still have a place in boxing, but not as a top contender. Instead, he would be seen as a fighter who is used to test young up-and-coming stars, similar to what happened with George Kambosos Jr. after his back-to-back losses to Haney.
The mirror with this fight that you know Ryan so well that you know what to throw at him.
There's no fear with Devin. Devin don't have no power. And then also, I mean, he want to come in all that extra weight, overweight. So, I mean, that makes a big difference. You know, there's still a lot of controversy going on with that fight. Aside from that, Devin was winning damn near every round that he didn't get dropped. Even the rounds he got dropped, he was winning the rounds.
The dynamic between Garcia and Haney goes back to their amateur days, where they fought multiple times. According to Davis, the pattern was always the same. When Haney won, it was by outboxing Garcia in a technical fight. But when Ryan won, it was usually in dominant fashion. When Devin won, he won by unanimous decision, like boxing, Davis explained. But when Ryan won, you saw what happened. That's how it happened in the amateurs. That's why Davis sees the rematch as a high-risk fight for Haney. If Ryan beats him again, it's likely going to be in a destructive way, just like before. And if that happens, the discussion about Haney's career will only get louder. Khan believes that even if Haney loses, he needs to show that he can compete at a higher level than what we saw last time. Even if you lose, you've got to show something better than that, he said. If you lose like that again, it's definitely going to be crazy. Ryan Garcia has already made it clear that he's not just coming back to fight, he's coming back to take over after his controversial bout against Devin Haney. Last April, Garcia's career took an unexpected turn. He had dropped Haney multiple times and walked away with a dominant win, only for the result to be overturned due to a failed test.